Imagine this. You're standing in the pharmacy, prescription in hand, waiting for the pharmacist to tell you the price. They ring it up, look at you kindly, and say, "That'll be $320 for a 30-day supply." Your heart sinks. $320 for 1 month. For pills you need to take every single day just to keep your blood pressure stable, just to keep your heart working the way it should. You think about your fixed income, about the other bills waiting at home, about groceries and utilities and everything else that needs paying. And right there, in that moment of quiet panic, a thought creeps in. There has to be a cheaper way. Maybe online, maybe from Canada, maybe from that email you got last week promising the same medication, FDA approved, 70% off. And that thought, as innocent and reasonable as it seems, is exactly where the danger begins. Because what you don't know yet, what thousands of people don't realize until it's too late, is that there's an entire shadow industry built on that exact moment of vulnerability. An industry that watches people struggle with prescription costs and sees not fellow human beings in need, but opportunities. They know you're scared. They know you're tired of choosing between medicine and food. They know you trust doctors and pharmacies and official-sounding websites, and they use all of that, every ounce of your fear, your hope, your trust, to sell you something that, at best, won't help you at all. At worst, it could seriously harm you or even end your life. This isn't a story about being careless or foolish. This is about how desperation meets deception, and how even the smartest, most cautious people can find themselves holding a bottle of pills that look real, sound real, but are dangerously, tragically fake. Let's take a step back and really look at why this scam works so devastatingly well. The foundation of the whole scheme isn't complicated technology or brilliant criminals. It's something much simpler and sadder. It's the fact that in many countries, especially the United States, prescription medications cost so much that people genuinely cannot afford them. We're not talking about luxury items or optional treatments. We're talking about insulin for diabetes, blood thinners for heart disease, medications for high blood pressure, cholesterol, chronic pain. These are the pills that keep people alive, and they cost hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars every month. Insurance helps some, but not everyone has good insurance. Co-pays climb, deductibles reset, and suddenly you're faced with an impossible choice. Do I pay for this medication and skip meals, or do I risk my health and hope for the best? Into that painful gap step the scammers, dressed up as saviors. They build websites that look almost identical to real pharmacy sites, clean, professional, with images of smiling pharmacists in white coats, customer testimonials, even fake verified badges and seals. They advertise on social media, send emails with subject lines like "Your prescription for less" or "Canadian pharmacy, safe and affordable." They use words that sound trustworthy: FDA approved, licensed, certified, genuine. And the prices? Oh, the prices are like a dream. The medication that costs you $300 at your local pharmacy is suddenly listed for $80, $60, even $40. Same brand name, same dosage. Why pay more, the website asks. And in that moment, when you're exhausted from worrying about money and just want relief, it feels like you found a lifeline. But here's the cold, hard truth that these sites will never tell you. Many of those pills are not what they claim to be. Some contain no active ingredient at all. They're sugar pills, flour, chalk, binders pressed into tablet form and stamped with a logo. You take them faithfully every day, believing you're managing your condition, but your blood pressure stays high, your cholesterol stays dangerous, your pain doesn't ease. Weeks pass, maybe months, and by the time you realize something's wrong, real damage has already been done. Other pills are even worse. They contain the wrong dosage, too much or too little of the active drug, which can cause severe side effects, overdoses, or simply fail to work. And some, the truly terrifying ones, contain completely different chemicals, industrial dyes, heavy metals, contaminants, even toxic substances. People have ended up hospitalized. People have died, all because they trusted a website that promised to help. Now let's talk about how these fake pharmacies actually operate, because understanding their tactics is the first step in protecting yourself. They almost always exist only online. No physical front store you can visit, no local address you can verify. If they list an address at all, it's often fake, a mailbox service, or located in a country with little to no pharmaceutical regulation. They don't require a prescription, or if they claim to, the prescription process is a joke, a quick online questionnaire that anyone can pass, or a fake consultation with someone who isn't a real doctor. Legitimate pharmacies, by contrast, always require a valid prescription from a licensed healthcare provider. Always, no exceptions. If a site is willing to sell you powerful medications without asking for a prescription, that's not convenience. That's a crime, and a dangerous one.
These scam sites also love to use certain emotional triggers to push you toward a quick purchase. They create urgency, limited stock, sale ends tonight, order now before prices go up. They make you feel like you're part of an exclusive club. Thousands of satisfied customers trust us. They prey on your distrust of the system. Big Pharma doesn't want you to know about this. And they dangle the one thing you desperately want: affordability. The price is so low that even if a tiny voice in the back of your mind whispers, "This seems too good to be true," you silence it because you need that medication, because $300 is impossible, because maybe just this once, something good and cheap can also be real. But it's not real, and the people behind these sites know exactly what they're doing. Some operate from countries where law enforcement can't easily reach them. Others shut down one website and immediately open another under a new name, always one step ahead. They don't care if the pills they send you are useless or harmful. They don't care if you get sicker. They got your money, often paid through wire transfer, cryptocurrency, or gift cards, all methods that are nearly impossible to trace or reverse. And they've already moved on to the next victim. By the time you realize you've been scammed, they're gone, and you're left holding a bottle of mystery pills, out of pocket, and possibly in worse health than before. Who falls for this? The answer might surprise you. It's not just people who are not tech-savvy or too trusting. It's people of all ages and backgrounds who are simply caught between a rock and a hard place. It's the retired teacher on a fixed income who needs blood pressure medication but can't afford the copay. It's the grandfather with diabetes who's trying to stretch his insulin as far as possible. It's the widow who's managing 6 different prescriptions and watching her savings disappear. These are people who've worked hard their whole lives, who've always followed the rules, who trust that if a website looks official and uses the right words, it must be legitimate. And scammers exploit that trust ruthlessly. There's also a particularly cruel variation of this scam that targets people with serious or terminal illnesses. Fake medications marketed as miracle cures for cancer, Alzheimer's, arthritis, conditions that conventional medicine struggles to treat. These pills are sold with grand promises: shrink tumors naturally, reverse memory loss, and chronic pain forever. They come with testimonials, before and after photos, endorsements from people with fake medical credentials. And because real treatment is expensive, exhausting, and sometimes doesn't work, people grasp at these straws. They spend their last savings on pills that do absolutely nothing, or worse, interfere with their real treatment. It's not just financial fraud, it's stealing hope from the most vulnerable. Right now, as you're hearing this, you might be thinking about your own medicine cabinet. Maybe you've bought pills online before. Maybe you've been tempted by those ads. Maybe you're wondering if what you're taking is real or fake. And that uncertainty, that fear, it's exactly why we're having this conversation. Because the goal here isn't to scare you or make you feel foolish. The goal is to arm you with knowledge, to help you recognize the warning signs before you click purchase, and to give you the confidence to protect both your health and your wallet. In the next part, we're going to walk through exactly how to verify if a pharmacy is legitimate, what red flags to watch for, where it's actually safe to buy medications, and what to do if you think you've already been scammed. Stay with me, because this information could literally save your life. Now, let's sit down together, like neighbors over coffee, and talk about how to protect yourself from all of this, not with fear, but with clarity, not with panic, but with a plan. Because once you know what to look for, these scams lose their power. They rely on confusion, urgency, and desperation. Take those away, and what you're left with is a clear choice: safe or unsafe, real or fake. Let's make sure you always choose safe. The very first rule, the golden one that will protect you more than anything else, is this: never buy prescription medication from a website or seller that doesn't require a valid prescription from your doctor. Read that again. Never. If a site says no prescription needed or offers an online questionnaire instead of asking for your real doctor's prescription, that's not a convenience. That's a crime. Legitimate pharmacies, whether they're online or brick and mortar, must legally require a prescription for controlled and prescription-only medications. That's not red tape. That's safety. It ensures a real medical professional has evaluated your condition, considered your other medications, and determined that this drug is appropriate and safe for you. Any pharmacy that skips that step is not trying to help you. They're trying to take your money.
Second rule, verify that the pharmacy is licensed and accredited. In the United States, there's an organization called the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy, or NABP. They run a program called VIPS, Verified Internet Pharmacy Practice Sites. If an online pharmacy has the VIP seal, it means they've been inspected, verified, and approved. You can check their list on the NABP website. It's free. It takes 2 minutes, and it could save your life. If the pharmacy you're considering isn't on that list, don't use it. Period. Similarly, legitimate pharmacies will have a physical address and a phone number you can call to speak to a real pharmacist. If the only contact method is email or a chatbot, walk away. Third rule, look at the price and ask yourself honestly, is this realistic or is this too good to be true? We all want to save money. That's natural. But if a medication that costs $200 everywhere else is suddenly being sold for $30 with no explanation, something is very wrong. Scammers count on you being so relieved by the low price that you don't ask questions. But real medications have real costs: research, manufacturing, quality control, distribution. A legitimate discount might bring a $300 medication down to $200 or even $150 if you use a manufacturer's coupon or discount card. But 70% off, 80% off with no insurance, no program, no explanation, that's not a deal. That's bait. Now, let's talk about red flags, the warning signs that should make you stop, pause, and walk away. First, the website looks almost professional, but not quite. Maybe the grammar is slightly off. Maybe there are spelling mistakes in the About Us section. Maybe the photos look generic, like stock images. Legitimate pharmacies invest in their websites because their reputation depends on it. Scammers throw together a site quickly, knowing they'll shut it down and start a new one in a few months. Second, the site ships from overseas and doesn't clearly state where. International shipping sounds global and exciting, but if your medication is coming from a country with weak or non-existent pharmaceutical regulations, you have no idea what's actually in that package. Third, the payment methods are suspicious. If they only accept wire transfers, cryptocurrency, or gift cards, that's a massive red flag. Legitimate businesses accept credit cards and offer buyer protection. Scammers want payment methods that can't be traced or reversed. Another red flag. The site makes exaggerated claims or tries to sell you medications you didn't ask for. Cure your arthritis permanently, lose 50 pounds in 30 days, reverse aging. These aren't medical promises, they're fantasy. Real medications treat conditions, they don't perform miracles. And if you go to a site to buy blood pressure medication and suddenly they're also trying to sell you weight loss pills, erectile dysfunction drugs, and anti-anxiety meds all on the same page, that's not a pharmacy, that's a pill mill. Real pharmacies don't push products, they fill prescriptions. So, what do you do if you want to buy medication online safely? Start with your own doctor. Ask them if they recommend any verified online pharmacies. Many insurance companies also have mail-order pharmacy services that are completely legitimate and often cheaper than retail. You can also ask your local pharmacist. They know the industry and can point you towards trustworthy options. If you're considering a specific site, look it up on the NABP website. Check reviews, but be smart about it. Fake sites often have fake reviews. Look for reviews on independent sites, not just on the pharmacy's own page. And when in doubt, call the pharmacy's phone number and talk to a real person. Ask questions. A legitimate pharmacy will be happy to answer. A scam will dodge, deflect, or pressure you. Here's another important layer of protection. Talk to your family about your medications. This isn't about losing independence. It's about having a safety net. If you're considering buying from a new source, mention it to your children, a trusted friend, or a neighbor. Say, I found this site that's a lot cheaper. Does this seem legit to you? A second pair of eyes, especially from someone who's not feeling the financial pressure you are, can often spot a scam instantly. You can even make it a household rule. Before buying medication from anywhere new, we check it together. That simple conversation can stop a scam before it starts. Now, what if you've already bought medication and you're not sure if it's real? First, don't panic. Look closely at the packaging. Does it match the packaging you've received from your regular pharmacy? Is the brand name spelled correctly? Is there a lot number, expiration date, and manufacturer information? Real medications are required to have all of that. Check the pills themselves. Do they look the same as what you usually take? Same color, shape, markings? If anything seems off, different size, strange smell, unusual texture, do not take them. Bring them to your pharmacist and ask them to verify. Pharmacists can often tell just by looking whether something is legitimate. If you've already taken some and you're feeling unusual side effects, or if the medication doesn't seem to be working the way it used to, contact your doctor immediately. Be honest. Tell them you bought from a different source. They won't judge you. They'll help you.
If you realize you've been scammed, act quickly. First, stop taking the medication. Second, report it. In the US, you can report fake pharmacies to the FDA through their website. You can also file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission. Report it to your state's Board of Pharmacy. The more people report these sites, the faster authorities can shut them down and prevent others from being harmed. Third, if you paid by credit card, contact your bank immediately and dispute the charge. You may be able to get your money back. If you paid by wire transfer or gift card, unfortunately, that money is likely gone. But reporting it still helps law enforcement track these criminals. Let's also talk about the emotional side of this, because it matters. If you've been scammed, you might feel embarrassed, ashamed, or angry at yourself. Please let those feelings go. You're not foolish. You are trying to stay healthy while managing impossible costs. The people who should feel ashamed are the criminals who exploited that, and the system that makes medication so expensive that people are driven to take these risks in the first place. You did nothing wrong by trying to survive. What matters now is protecting yourself going forward and helping others learn from your experience. One more thing. If the cost of your medication is genuinely unaffordable, there are real, legitimate ways to get help. Many pharmaceutical companies offer patient assistance programs. If you meet certain income requirements, they'll provide your medication for free or at a steep discount. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about these programs. There are also nonprofit organizations that help people afford medication. GoodRx and similar discount card programs can bring prices down significantly at real, licensed pharmacies. Your local health department might have resources. Some states have prescription assistance programs for seniors. It takes some research and paperwork, but these options are real, safe, and legal. They won't put your health at risk. So here's what I want you to take away from this conversation. Prescription drug scams are real, they're dangerous, and they prey on good people in tough situations. But you don't have to be a victim. You have the tools now. Always require a prescription. Always verify the pharmacy. Always check the price for realism. Always look for red flags. Always talk to someone you trust. And always remember, your health is worth more than any discount. A few extra dollars spent at a legitimate pharmacy is nothing compared to the cost of fake medication, not just in money, but in your health, your safety, and your life. Protect yourself, ask questions, and never let desperation push you into danger.
Imagina esto. Estás de pie en la farmacia, receta en mano, esperando que el farmacéutico te diga el precio. Lo escanea, te mira amablemente y dice, son 320 euros por un suministro de 30 días. Se te cae el alma a los pies. 320 euros. Por un mes. Por pastillas que necesitas tomar todos los días, solo para mantener tu presión arterial estable, solo para que tu corazón funcione como debe. Piensas en tus ingresos fijos, en las otras facturas que esperan en casa, en la comida y los servicios, y todo lo demás que necesita pagarse. Y justo ahí, en ese momento de pánico silencioso, se cuela un pensamiento. Tiene que haber una forma más barata. Quizás online, quizás de alguna farmacia internacional, quizás de ese email que recibiste la semana pasada, prometiendo el mismo medicamento, aprobado, 70% más barato. Y ese pensamiento, tan inocente y razonable como parece, es exactamente donde comienza el peligro. Porque lo que aún no sabes, lo que miles de personas no se dan cuenta hasta que es demasiado tarde, es que existe toda una industria en las sombras construida sobre ese preciso momento de vulnerabilidad. Una industria que observa a la gente luchar con los costos de los medicamentos y no ve a seres humanos necesitados, sino oportunidades. Saben que tienes miedo. Saben que estás cansado de elegir entre medicina y comida. Saben que confías en los médicos, en las farmacias y en sitios web que suenan oficiales. Y usan todo eso, cada gramo de tu miedo, tu esperanza, tu confianza, para venderte algo que, en el mejor de los casos, no te ayudará en absoluto. En el peor, podría perjudicarte seriamente o incluso acabar con tu vida. Esta no es una historia sobre ser descuidado o tonto. Es sobre cómo la desesperación se encuentra con el engaño, y cómo incluso las personas más inteligentes y cautelosas pueden encontrarse sosteniendo un frasco de pastillas que parecen reales, suenan reales, pero son peligrosas, trágicamente falsas. Demos un paso atrás y miremos realmente por qué esta estafa funciona tan devastadoramente bien. La base de todo el esquema no es tecnología complicada ni criminales brillantes, es algo mucho más simple y triste. Es el hecho de que en muchos países, especialmente en Estados Unidos, pero también en partes de Europa y América Latina, los medicamentos con receta cuestan tanto que la gente genuinamente no pueden pagarlos.
No estamos hablando de artículos de lujo o tratamientos opcionales. Estamos hablando de insulina para la diabetes, anticoagulantes para enfermedades cardíacas, medicamentos para la presión alta, colesterol, dolor crónico. Estas son las pastillas que mantienen a la gente viva y cuestan cientos, a veces miles de euros cada mes. El seguro ayuda a algunos, pero no todos tienen buen seguro. Los copagos suben, los deducibles se reinician, y de repente, te enfrentas a una elección imposible. ¿Pago este medicamento y me salto comidas, o arriesgo mi salud y espero lo mejor? En esa dolorosa brecha entran los estafadores, disfrazados de salvadores. Construyen sitios web que parecen casi idénticos a sitios de farmacias reales, limpios, profesionales, con imágenes de farmacéuticos sonrientes con batas blancas, testimonios de clientes, incluso insignias y sellos falsos de verificado. Anuncian en redes sociales, envían correos con asuntos como tu receta por menos o farmacia certificada, segura y accesible. Usan palabras que suenan confiables, aprobado, licenciado, certificado, genuino. ¿Y los precios? Los precios son como un sueño. El medicamento que te cuesta 300 euros en tu farmacia local, de repente aparece listado por 80, 60, incluso 40 euros. Misma marca, misma dosis. ¿Por qué pagar más?, pregunta el sitio web. Y en ese momento, cuando estás agotado de preocuparte por el dinero y solo quieres alivio, sientes que has encontrado un salvavidas. Pero aquí está la fría y dura verdad que estos sitios nunca te dirán. Muchas de esas pastillas no son lo que dicen ser. Algunas no contienen ningún ingrediente activo en absoluto. Son pastillas de azúcar, harina, tiza, aglutinantes prensados en forma de tableta y estampados con un logo. Las tomas fielmente cada día, creyendo que estás manejando tu condición. Pero tu presión arterial sigue alta, tu colesterol sigue peligroso, tu dolor no disminuye. Pasan semanas, quizás meses, y para cuando te das cuenta de que algo está mal, el daño real ya se ha hecho. Otras pastillas son aún peores. Contienen la dosis incorrecta, demasiado o muy poco del fármaco activo, lo que puede causar efectos secundarios severos, sobredosis o simplemente no funcionar. Y algunas, las verdaderamente aterradoras, contienen químicos completamente diferentes, tintes industriales, metales pesados, contaminantes, incluso sustancias tóxicas. La gente ha terminado hospitalizada. La gente ha muerto. Todo porque confiaron en un sitio web que prometía ayudar. Ahora hablemos de cómo operan realmente estas farmacias falsas, porque entender sus tácticas es el primer paso para protegerte. Casi siempre existen solo online, sin tienda física que puedas visitar, sin dirección local que puedas verificar. Si listan una dirección, a veces es falsa, un servicio de apartado postal, o ubicada en un país con poca o ninguna regulación farmacéutica. No requieren receta, o si dicen requerirla, el proceso de receta es una broma. Un cuestionario online rápido que cualquiera puede pasar. O una consulta falsa con alguien que no es un médico real. Las farmacias legítimas, por el contrario, siempre requieren una receta válida de un proveedor de salud licenciado. Siempre, sin excepciones. Si un sitio está dispuesto a venderte medicamentos poderosos sin pedir receta, eso no es conveniencia, eso es un crimen, y uno peligroso.